Good afternoon, students. So in the last class we completed about Joule's law of heating, and we learned practical applications, and we started fuse, right? We understood the definition of fuse and we need to go further. So in today's class, let us continue from what we stopped at the last class, that is about fuse. Now what is fuse? Fuse is nothing but it is a material which will be used in an electric circuit which protect electrical appliances against short circuit and overload, right? So today's topic is nothing but short circuit, overload, properties of fuse and electric power. So let us start. So we understood fuse. Now what is overload? So the name only suggests that it is nothing but when the current is more in a circuit than the expected value, what happens? It will catches fire and it makes damages to the appliances. So this is nothing but overload. Now why this overload happens? So let us see why it happens. So this happens just due to using number of devices in the same socket. So number of plugs, if you are putting in the same socket, what happens? It consumes more power than the expected value, and this leads to the fire catching or an unnecessary disadvantage of electrical devices. So once again I'll repeat. So here overload, it is nothing but it occurs when too much current passes through electric wires. What happens? That wire get heated. When current increases, wire will get heat, and when wire start melting by catching fire, and this is how overload takes place. And here this happens due to the overuse of extension cords, multiple plug adapters, so many things. Now we understood overload. The definition is nothing but just you need to write 3 to 4 sentences related to the overload here. So the next is short circuit. Now what is this short circuit? Usually in a wire, what we'll see inside we'll get 3 types of wire. In a circuit, we'll get 3 types of wires which we are not able to see unless until we remove that insulated wire. Okay. So here those 3 types of wires are nothing but live wire, neutral wire, and another one we'll call it as ground wire. Also we'll call it as earth wire, earthing wire. Now live wire in an electric circuit where the electricity was passed, there in this live wire the current will be flowing all the time, whereas in the neutral wire the current does not flow, and the purpose of neutral wire is nothing but to complete the circuit with respect to this live wire. And this is nothing but for this earth wire or ground wire just for the safety purposes. As I told, the same thing we will be studying in the next chapter, that is magnetic effect of electric current. So there in detail we will see. So just you need to remember we get 3 types of wire: live, neutral and earth wire. So leave this one. These 2 wires will be connected in such a way that they do not come contact with each other. If they come contact with each other, what happens? Short circuit will takes place. So usually when they are manufacturing, they will do in the way that they should not come contact with each other. So this happens due to again overload, etc., or when other scenario which I will explain. Apart from that, from the manufacture defect only, the short circuit will happen. So there are 2 reasons for this short circuit. One is what? From the manufacture defect, which is not going to happen, but also there are chances from the manufacture defect. And another case is what? That is nothing but when this live wire and neutral wire comes in contact with each other, and that incident is nothing but it leads to the short circuit. So what happens when these 2 come contact with one another? When these 2 wires come contact with one another in a circuit, they'll automatically drop the resistance. That means resistance will decrease, and we already know that what happens to current when resistance decreases? When resistance decreases, current will automatically increase, and we know that current increases than expected value. Sure, this same thing happens when overload took place. That is nothing but it leads to the catching fire, and some other devices will get damages, etc. So this is definition of overload and short circuit. So when you are writing short circuit, you need to mention these 2 names. That is when these 2 wires, that is live and neutral, come to the contact, that incident leads to the short circuit. That means resistance decrease, automatically current will increase, which leads to the short circuit. Now the first topic is nothing but fuse, right? We already know the fuse, the definition of fuse. Now let us see some of the properties of fuse. Now fuse, which will be connected in series between the metal rods. For example, here we have a conductors or metal rods. So in between here, this fuse will be connected in series. It is connected end to end, that is nothing but it is connected in series. Now this fuse can be metal or a mixture of metal, that is nothing but alloy. For many examples are there, such as copper, iron, lead, so many things. So you need to remember, fuse either may be a metal or it may be a just alloy. Okay. Now usually this will be connected in series with live wire. It will be connected in series with live wire. Now fuse has low melting point. Fuse has low melting point. Now what does that means? That means when a current increases than expected value, what happens? This fuse will melt. And when it melts, what happens? It will break the circuit. That means it does not allow the current to flow further because the circuit has been break, right? The circuit has been damaged. This is how it protects a device from overload and short circuit. So once again I repeat, fuse has low melting point, which comes under the properties, and usually the current capacity of fuse will be slightly higher than that of the appliances. So when as current increases than the expected value, it has some, as I already mentioned in this point, it have a current capacity in a small quantity larger than the normal appliances. So what happens? A bit it will control. When it excludes more, that means when a current will be more than the expected value, it melts down and it breaks the circuit, and due to this current will automatically shut off and it will protect devices from overload and short circuit. So these are the properties. Now as I told, here only we need to learn the advantages and disadvantages of fuse. Now whatever I just explained here, what happens when the current will flow more, it will break and it will avoid short circuit and overload. This is one of the advantage of fuse. So what is that? Once again I repeat, if the current larger than the specified value in the circuit or in the appliances, what happens? Temperature increases. Automatically when the temperature increases, fuse wire melts, and this breaks a circuit to protect appliances. Now in the same point only, I will tell you the disadvantage. Now the circuit breakdown, right? To fix this one, it is not automatic. So to fix this one, we need to call electrician. It is again such a lengthy process, right? So that means to get back again the power, we need to call the electrician. He should come and they should fix this one. So this acts as a disadvantage. That is nothing but time consuming method. It will also provide safety, but once when it breaks down, that means the circuit breaks, what happens? We need to call electrician for the further procedure, which is a time taking. Now here only we have one more advantage. Nowadays, that means from long back, to avoid this incident, we are using one more device such as MCB, which is important for your one more question. That means you need to expand this MCB. Now what is this MCB? MCB is nothing but miniature circuit breaker. So you need to remember this one. So for one mark you will get miniature circuit breaker. Now what is this? This is nothing but to fix the melted wire automatically. So this is a device which has a huge application. So a huge application, that means what? Once the circuit breaks, this MCB will automatically rejoins the circuit, which is miniature circuit breaker. And these both fuse and MCB are the cheapest form. Once if we install, we won't get a regular cost to maintain that one. So which act as a advantage of the electrical fuse. Okay, the best device to use for protection of the short circuit and overload is nothing but fuse. So next, and one more what we want, other than which works automatically. We don't want any time consuming processes or procedure, right? So the main advantage, automatically fix itself, that is MCB, and it's not a time consuming method. So these are the advantages. Now let us see disadvantages. So it is nothing but, as I told earlier, if you don't install this MCB, if you have only a normal fuse, once if it breaks, we need to go with further procedure to get back the circuit. Apart from that, the current time characteristic of fuse cannot always be correlated with that of a protection device, and that is one more disadvantage of fuse. So this is all about practical applications of heating effect. So let me quickly recall what we studied from the heating effect of electric current. So we learned the definition of heating effect, how to derive Joule's law equation, and the definition of Joule's law of heating, and after that examples for the practical appliances, and the filament used in the bulb, that is nothing but tungsten, which you need to remember, and to increase the shelf life of that bulb you will be using gases such as nitrogen and argon. After that we studied fuse, its properties, disadvantage and advantages, then about short circuit and overload. So this completes one complete huge heading. So next we move to the next topic, that is nothing but electric power. Electric power, which is denoted by the same thing, power, that is capital P. So the actual definition of electric power is the rate at which electrical energy is converted or consumed in an electric current. That is, electrical energy converted or consumed in electric current is called as electric power, which is denoted by P. So this is the definition of electrical power, and this electrical power has three formulas. Mainly we will be using this one, that is P is equal to VI. Apart from this, we have these two formulas. See what is that? P is equal to I square R, P is equal to V square by R. Now let us see how we got these three formulas, okay? And I hope you already know how we got this one, right? In the Joule's law equation, we derived how we got P is equal to V by R. So I'll give again one more time how we got that one. So for that we need basically the definition of power. What is that? The definition of a normal power is nothing but amount of energy transferred or converted per unit time. That is what we learned, right? So with the formula P is equal to W by T, right? And before that only we know what is W, that is work done. So from the potential difference, so that is V is equal to W by Q. So this is what we learned from potential difference. Now from the normal definition of power, that is work done, amount of energy transferred or converted per unit time is called as power. So let us modify this equation. So W, take W outside, that means modify this equation. W will become V into Q. So shall I write P is equal to V by T, VQ by T, right? So based on this I wrote this equation. Now Q by T, we know that it is the, which indicates the current. I is equal to Q by T. So let me write it as V into I. So just normal substitution with respect to power equation. So here we got P is equal to VI. Now how we got this equation? P is equal to I square R. Let us know that Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. Substitute this value in the first equation, that is P is equal to VI. That means P is equal to IR, and one more I we have here, right? So what happens? P is equal to I square. After the small modification, hence we got this equation here. P is equal to I square R. Now how we got this equation? P is equal to V square by R. Again let us take Ohm's law. That is what? V is equal to IR. Correct. Now let us take I outside. That is current. What happens if I take I outside? I is equal to V by R. So this is the equation I get. I is equal to V by R. If I square on both the sides in this equation, what happens? I will get I square. So I will get I square is equal to V square by R square. Clear? Now substitute this equation in this equation. Now let us use this equation. For this we use this one. So to derive this equation, let us use the second equation. So substitute this value in the second equation, that is P is equal to I square R. So what happens? P is equal to, what is the value of I square? That is V square by R square, and one more R we have here. This R and this will get cancelled, and P is equal to V square R what is left. Now that is how we got third equation. Now your question, it is enough just to remember these three formulas, or you should learn how we got these three how to get these three equations by deriving them. Yes, it is important. When you look at your exercise multiple choice question, you have one question based on these three equations, and they added one more equation, and they're asking us to identify the wrong equation for power. That means you should know which are the correct one. At the same time, if they modify the question, you should know how we are getting these equations. So once again I repeat, first we need to know the formula of a basic power, and what is that? Power equals WB work done by time, and next you should take the potential difference from that. Step by step you will get P is equal to VI. Now take Ohm's law and take this equation, modify, you will get, and again here take Ohm's law and modify and take this second equation, and you will get this equation. So let us repeat. What are the three equations for power? P is equal to VI, P is equal to I square R, P is equal to V square divided by R. Now we know that power, which is denoted by capital P, right? And the SI unit of power is watt. So SI unit of power is watt. Clear? Now you will get one question, that is meaning of 1 watt. What is the meaning of 1 watt? Now, as we already learned from the beginning, when they ask in terms of SI unit, you need to again use the equation in terms of SI unit. That means power is equal to basic equation. This is what we will be considering. V into I. So P is what? Watt. V is what? Again potential difference V, and I is ampere. Now how to define 1 watt? So how to define 1 watt? It is nothing but 1 ampere of current, 1 ampere of current used to obtain a potential difference of 1 volt. So that means we are defining 1 watt in terms of SI units of the power. That's all. Now, what is the meaning of 1 watt? 1 ampere of current used to obtain a potential difference of 1 watt. Now, it's a normal SI unit of power is nothing but watt. Usually, when we are buying the bulbs, what will ask? Will ask 0 watt, 10 watt, right? So, it is a normal SI unit of power. Apart from this SI unit, that is watt, we also have different types of SI unit for the power. Now let us see what are those different SI units of this power. So here first, the SI unit of power is what? Watt. As I told, apart from that we will get many different SI units. So in that mainly commercial unit, which is common. So, and it is also important from the examination point of view. They will ask what is commercial unit or what is 1 unit. So commercial unit is nothing but 1 unit, and 1 unit is nothing but 1 kilowatt hour, 1 kWh. Okay. Now here I also wrote an value for 1 unit. Okay. So all the 3 things which you need to remember, I will repeat. In general, normally the power, SI unit for the power will be used as commercial unit, and commercial unit is also called as 1 unit, and which is nothing but 1 kilowatt hour, and this is your answer. They'll ask this one and they'll expect you to write this thing, okay? That is 1 kilowatt hour. Now we'll just get one value for this number. Kilo means what? 1000. Everyone know 1 kilo is nothing but 1000. So let us substitute 1 kilo is nothing but 1000, and we have W, that is watt, which is right as it is, and hour. So if we convert 1 hour in terms of seconds, how much we get? 360 seconds, right? So here I wrote 1000 into W into 360 seconds, and hence after multiplication I got 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 watt second, and this will get a number. After using the scientific notation, we can write the smallest number, that is 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joule. Now how we got joule? So P is equal to what? W by T, right? Earlier what we saw, the formula for the power. Now we got here watt now, and here we got 1 by SI unit, that is seconds. Now watt into second is nothing but joules. How we need to confirm that one? So here if I take W outside, what we get? P into T, that is power into T, right? So what is the SI unit of work done? That is work, it is nothing but joule. Now joule is nothing but the combination of watt into second. So in terms of, either we can stop here or also we can give this answer. Watt into second, I can take it as joule, okay? So the value of 1 unit is nothing but 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joule, or the value of 1 commercial unit is nothing but 1 kilowatt hour. So all three different things which you need to remember. Apart from this, we can also express the power in terms of 1 kilowatt, 1 megawatt, 1 gigawatt, and kilo is nothing but 10 to the power 3, and mega is nothing but 10 to the power 6, and giga is nothing but 10 to the power 9. Okay, so all the in both form, the numbers watt. In the normal numbers, and again in terms of scientific notations also we expressed here. So it's better instead of this one, remember this one. Power will express in terms of 1 kilowatt, that is nothing but 10 to the power 3, and 1 mega, that is nothing but 10 to the power 6 watt, and 1 giga, that is nothing but 10 to the power 9 watt. And now we learned 1, 2, 3, 4. And also power can express as 1 horsepower. 1 horsepower, and the value of 1 horsepower is nothing but 735 watt. In different fields, they will use different kind of units to express the power. So usually in our problems we'll be using watt. Only the expected question is commercial unit, and apart from this you need to remember. And again, unit of electric charge. This is not related to power. This is another extra point where we'll be using while solving the power. Solving the numerical problems and this electrical power. So E is equal to P into T, and also H is equal to P into T, which we solved, which we learned while deriving the Joule's law equation, right? So there, when we get this type of statement in the numerical problem, we will be using this equation. So just remember, unit of electric charge will take it as 1 watt hour. So mainly you need to remember the watt and this commercial unit. Apart from that, if they ask you to write the value of kilowatt, gigawatt, megawatt, then you need to mention these three, okay? So this is all about electrical power. Now let us solve 1 or 2 example problems under the topic electric power. The first example problem 12.12. So read the question. An electric bulb is converted to a 220 volt generator. The current is 0.5 ampere. What is the power of the bulb? So pause and read once again. So in this question they are clearly given V value and I value, and they are asking us to find out P. And it is the simplest 1 mark question. P is equal to VI. So the formula, they are given V and I, right? V is equal to 220, I is equal to 0.5, and P, we know that V into I. So multiply these two values, 220 into 0.5, and you will get the answer, that is 110 with the unit watt. Okay. So these type of 1 mark question, either they will give in the form of MCQ or direct 1 mark question. So you should write again along with the units if it is for 1 mark question, and if it is just MCQ, you can choose the correct answer. Now read the second example problem, that is example 12.13. An electric refrigerator rated 400 watt operates 8 hours per day. They are given that the electric refrigerator with 400 watt will operate only 8 hours per day, and they are asking us to find out the cost of the energy to operate it for 30 days. So we need to find out the cost when it operates 30 days. That means only 8 hours per day. That means we need to calculate 8 into 30. Okay. Now they are given the cost is 3 rupees for 1 commercial unit, that is kilowatt hour. So coming back to the question, see here they are given example 12.3, power 400 watt of a refrigerator, works 8 hours per day, and we need to calculate the cost for 30 days. That means cost for 30 days, and they are given value 3 rupees for 1 unit, that is 1 commercial unit, 1 kilowatt hour. Clear? This we just need to recall. That means first we need to find out electric energy. So one value we need to find out using this formula. Now 8 hours per day they are given. That means 8 hours per day the value they are given, and they are asking us to estimate the cost for 30 days, right? So that means 8 into 30 days, 8 into 30 days, 240 hours. So the refrigerator with 400 watt works 240 hours for 30 days. So this and all you need to analyze the question and you need to come to the conclusion. Clear? So next we need to find out the cost. So let us move to the question. So we know that electrical energy has one formula. What is that? E is equal to 1 watt hour. So in the earlier step only we studied the last statement under the SI units of electric power. That means there is a formula for electric energy, that is 1 watt hour. So this is given in terms of SI unit. Now let us come back to the formula based on this equation. That is watt means what? Watt is the SI unit of power. Hour is what? Hour or second is the power of time. So let us convert this into E is equal to P into T, because the values what they are given in the given is what? In terms of power and in terms of time, right? So we just modified the equation as E is equal to power into T. Clear? No doubt till here. Now just substitute the values. P is what? So P here we have 400 watt. So I substituted here, and T is what? We are not taking this one, 8 hours. We need to calculate for overall 30 days. So we are taking 240 hours. Now listen, here the formula is directly given in the hours, right? So no need to convert into seconds until unless we want in terms of seconds. So since we have directly in hour, take it as 240 hours. Okay, so multiply 400 into 240. So how much you will get? You will get 96,000 watt hour. The unit as must and should. And watt hour, I can convert this 96,000. That means this 1000 in terms of kilo now. Kilo gives 1000. So after this I need to modify in terms of 96 kilowatt hour. So this is nothing but what? 1 commercial unit. Kilowatt hour, 1 commercial unit or 1 unit of a power. Now we got electric energy for 30 days. Now we need to calculate the amount or the cost for 30 days when 1 commercial unit cost for 3 rupees. That means what? This value directly, right? So this is nothing but 96. Here they are just write 96 kilowatt hour into 3 rupees. So into 3 rupees, how much we will get? So when we calculate this one, we will get around 288 rupees is the answer. Clear? So once again this question, second type question, that is example 12.3. Few more we have in the example in text, sorry, in the last exercise part. Once we resolve all those things, we'll get a proper idea how to find out this cost and related to this power numerical problems. Okay, so here first we need to analyze the question and we need to calculate the time as they are given for 30 days, and we need to calculate electric energy, and we got in terms of kilowatt hour. Is it necessary to convert this value in terms of kilowatt hour? Yes, because they are given cost with respect to 1 unit, that means kilo hour watt, right? So we converted, then they are given the value, that is 3 rupees for 1 kilowatt. So we need to multiply that with respect to 96 kilowatt, and we got the cost for complete 30 days to work this refrigerator is nothing but 288 rupees. Okay, you need to write everything step by step. Now, so this is our last topic of this chapter. We have only some in-text and exercise part which we will be dealing from the next class onwards. So let us recall once again from the beginning of this chapter. So in this electricity chapter, which have more weightage for your exam from the physics part. Okay, so first we started with the introduction of all charges, that is definition, different type of charges, its properties. So then we studied electric current and its symbols, simple circuit diagram, components, right? So after that we also studied potential difference, then directly we come into what Ohm's law we studied with respect to one activity. So activity is again important, and from the Ohm's law we got resistance, and again we started to study resistance with respect to one activity, which is also again important for your examination point of view. And from resistance we came to know about resistivity with a formula, and we have one important question under the resistivity, right? So in textbook we have one in an example problem and one from the exercise, so both the problems are important which you need to remember. So after resistivity we know the difference between resistance and resistivity. Then we went to resistor, and again it is nothing but resistors in combination, where we studied two derivation for series and parallel along with the diagrams, and we came to know the advantages and disadvantages of series and parallel connection, and we solved a problems, right? So after completing the series and parallel, at last we came to the heating effect. There we have one more derivation, that is to get the Joule's law of heating expression, that is H is equal to I square RT. So after that we studied about the filament, that is tungsten, then fuse, its properties, advantages, disadvantages, then short circuit and overload. So after that this electric power. So here the definition and three different formulas for the power, then a number of units, and in that mainly the common unit is watt, apart from that one commercial unit, that is nothing but 1 kilowatt hour. So then we solved a problem. So we completed all the topics in the electricity chapter. So we will deal with only exercise and some of the in-text question, and you need to sit and work out. So mainly you need to concentrate problems here. Apart from that, in the same equal amount we have theory also. You need to learn both theory as well as problems.